Hi, I'm Carolyn Leah, the Director of Christian Discipleship and Formation at Plum Creek and Beulah Presbyterian Churches. And I have been coming to you with stories from the book Easter Love Letters from God by Glenys Nellist. This storybook has been helping us walk through the season of Lent by remembering the stories of Jesus' last week here on earth. As we journey towards the cross, we have been unlighting some of our candles as we keep going week by week closer to Easter. Today, we're going to read a story that happens in a garden at night. And this garden had some very big olive trees in it. And Jesus went there to talk to God. So let's hear our story today, brought to you by permission of HarperCollins Christian Publishing. It's called The Gloomy Garden. Darkness fell as the disciples followed Jesus out into the night. Jesus walked through the quiet streets toward the Garden of Gethsemane. He wanted to pray. The moon shone through the olive trees as Jesus knelt down. The garden was gloomy, and all was still. "Father, are you there?" Jesus said quietly. "Do I have to die? Is there another way that we can teach the world about heaven?" There was no reply. Jesus sobbed. He didn't want to die, but he trusted God. And even though he felt all alone, he knew that God was with him. He was ready. The sound of heavy footsteps broke the silence of the night. Angry shouts filled the air. Jesus looked up through his tears. Shadowy figures came toward him. Torches flickered in the darkness. The soldiers were there to take him away. Jesus stood up. It was time to go. See what our love letter from God has to say today. Dear child of God, have you ever felt alone like Jesus did that night? When you feel like that, I want you to remember something very important. You are never alone. I am always by your side. Those soldiers might have taken Jesus away from the garden, but they could never take him away from me. And there is nothing that can ever take you away from me either. Remember this promise. I am always with you. Love God. And that's actually our Bible verse today. I am always with you. From Matthew chapter 28, verse 20. It sounds like Jesus had a lot of sad feelings. And I'm sure that you and I have had sad feelings too. It's wonderful to remember that Jesus was in a body just like you and I. And Jesus had all the same kinds of feelings that you and I have. He was happy and played with children and loved having fun with them. And he was sad sometimes. And in the garden that night, he was very sad because he knew that he would need to go to the cross for us. But he trusted that God's plan was what was needed. I put a little stone on my table today, and I am wondering if you have a nice special stone that you can find. And when you have big feelings, that you might take that stone and hold it and think about Jesus praying to God in the garden when he had some pretty big sad feelings too. And maybe you can hold your stone and you can talk to God too. Remember, God is always with us. And so we can talk to God about any feelings we have. Now let's turn off our next candle as we get closer to that Easter Sunday. I'll see you next time when we talk about a new story in our book, Easter Love Letters from God.